You wake up on day 3. Your mouth is so dry it feels like the inside of a paper bag. Your head is pounding, like something is squeezing your skull from the inside. You try to stand, and the room spins. You have not had a single drop of water in 72 hours. And you still have 4 days to go. Most people think dehydration just means feeling thirsty. They are wrong. The real danger is not the thirst. It is what is happening inside your bloodstream right now. Your blood is changing. It is thickening, becoming harder and harder to move through your veins. Your kidneys are starting to panic. And deep inside your skull, your brain is actually shrinking. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. Let us start at the very beginning. Your body is about 60% water. Not just in your blood, but in every single cell of your body. Water is the medium that carries nutrients to every organ you have. It regulates your body temperature from the inside out. It flushes waste products out through your kidneys, hour after hour. It keeps your blood thin enough for your heart to pump without strain. Without water, none of those systems work properly. And they do not just slow down. They break down, one by one, in a very specific and predictable order. Your kidneys alone filter about 180 liters of fluid every single day. That is more fluid than most people drink in an entire month. Every single heartbeat depends on electrolytes, sodium, potassium, dissolved in water. When the water disappears, those signals begin to fail. And what follows is not just discomfort. It is a countdown. So here is the scenario we are locking in today. A healthy adult, average size, in a normal temperate environment. Normal daily activity. Not running, not working in the heat. Starting right now, this person will not drink a single drop of water for 7 full days. No water, no juice, no coffee, nothing liquid at all. What happens next plays out like a script your body has been perfecting for millions of years. A script of survival and of slow, irreversible collapse. Hour 0. You drink your very last sip of water. At first, absolutely nothing feels wrong. Your body has reserves. It begins quietly, invisibly, conserving every drop it already has. Your kidneys shift into a higher conservation gear. They start pulling back as much water as possible from your urine before it leaves the body. Your urine becomes darker, more concentrated, a signal your body is already sending. Within the first hour, the thirst signal fires. It is faint at first, just a dryness building at the back of your throat. Your brain sends a clear message, drink something. You ignore it. Your body notes this and begins adjusting. By hour 3, the signal gets louder. Your mouth is noticeably drier now. Your lips feel slightly tight, like the skin is pulling inward. A low, dull headache begins to form behind your eyes. But you are still functional, still thinking clearly, still standing. By hour 6, something invisible and important begins happening. Your body begins redirecting its remaining water supply. It pulls fluid away from less critical areas, your skin, your muscles, your connective tissue, and sends it toward the organs that matter most right now, your brain and your heart. Your body is already rationing, and you do not even feel it yet. By hour 12, the headache is real and it is not going away. Your urine is now a deep amber color. Your heart rate is slightly elevated, working harder to push blood that is getting thicker. You feel tired, even if you have not done a single physical thing. That fatigue is not in your muscles. It is in your blood. By the end of day 1, you have lost roughly 1 to 2% of your body weight in water. That doesn't sound like much at all. But even a 1 to 2% drop in hydration measurably reduces cognitive performance. Reaction time slows. Decision-making becomes harder. Subtly, but measurably. And you still think you are fine. Day 2 begins. You wake up and your mouth feels like dry sand. The headache from yesterday never left. It settled in during the night, like an uninvited guest that moved into your skull. Your eyes feel dry and scratchy when you blink. Your skin is starting to lose something called elasticity. If you pinch the skin on the back of your hand and release it, it takes a moment longer than normal to snap back. Doctors call this the skin turgor test. It is one of the first things they check when they suspect severe dehydration. Your body is writing warning signs all over itself, and you can read them if you know where to look. By midday 2, your kidneys are working at maximum capacity. They are now producing the absolute minimum amount of urine your body can safely manage. Your urine is dark brown, almost the color of strong tea. That color is your kidneys telling you they are running on fumes. But here is the hidden danger that most people never think about. As your blood loses water, it thickens. Your red blood cells become more and more concentrated. The fluid between them decreases. And blood viscosity, the thickness of your blood, begins climbing. Now your heart has to work significantly harder to push that thicker blood through the same narrow vessels. Think of it this way. It is like trying to pump thick syrup through a straw instead of water. Your heart rate climbs. Your blood pressure becomes unstable. You can feel your heart beating harder than usual, even when you are just sitting still. That extra effort accumulates, hour by hour, beat by beat, and your heart was not built for this. Late on day 2, the muscle cramps begin. First in your legs, sharp, unexpected jolts. Then in your feet, your calves, your lower back. These cramps are not from exercise. You have barely moved. They are from your electrolytes beginning to fail. Sodium and potassium control every nerve signal and every muscle contraction in your entire body. They need water to dissolve in. Without water, their concentration becomes dangerously unbalanced, and your muscles start misfiring. Think of it like a battery running on the wrong voltage. Too much signal in the wrong direction, and the machinery seizes. Cramps, spasms, tremors in your hands. Your body is starting to lose precise physical coordination. And something else is happening that you cannot feel at all. The waste products your kidneys are supposed to clear are building up in your blood. Day 3. This is where things shift from serious to dangerous. You are back in the scenario we open with. The headache is severe. The thirst is overwhelming. Standing makes you dizzy. But the most dangerous thing happening right now, you cannot feel at all. Your kidneys are beginning to fail. Not completely. Not yet. But they are under critical stress. Inside your kidneys are tiny filtering units called nephrons. There are about 1 million of them in each kidney. They were designed to filter waste, dissolved in water. But the water is almost gone. The waste products they were supposed to clear, urea, creatinine, ammonia, are now accumulating in your bloodstream. A slow, invisible poisoning by your own body's waste. But the twist no one expects is what is happening to your brain. Here is the strange part. Your brain is not just 60% water like the rest of your body. Your brain is 73% water. As your body loses fluid, your brain actually loses physical volume. It physically shrinks by a measurable amount. And as it shrinks, it pulls slightly away from the inner walls of your skull. The tiny blood vessels connecting your brain to those inner walls begin to stretch. This is why dehydration headaches feel so severe and so deep. It is not a chemical signal. It is a physical tension, a mechanical force. Your brain is being physically pulled away from the inside of your skull, and you feel every inch of it. On day 4, your body enters a new and grimmer phase. Emergency mode. Your adrenal glands release a surge of stress hormones. Adrenaline, cortisol, a cocktail designed for short-term survival only. These hormones were meant for a sprint, not a 7-day endurance test. Your blood pressure begins dropping more dramatically now. When you stand up, blood pools into your legs. Not enough reaches your brain in time. The room goes dark for a moment every single time you move. Doctors call this orthostatic hypotension. And now it happens every time you change position. Your urine production has nearly stopped entirely. What little remains is dark, almost orange, dense with the toxins your kidneys can barely move. The concentrated waste is now beginning to physically damage the kidney tissue from the inside. The delicate lining of the kidney's filtering tubules starts to break down. Doctors call this acute tubular necrosis. In plain terms, your kidneys are starting to die from the inside. And once the kidneys begin to fail, everything else accelerates. The toxins that had been building slowly now begin surging. Ammonia levels in the blood rise to dangerous concentrations. Your breath begins to smell strange, sweet and metallic at the same time. Day 5. By now, the cognitive confusion is undeniable. Simple tasks feel like climbing a mountain. You cannot finish a thought before it dissolves. Words slip away before you can reach them. Your brain is running on fumes. Not just because it is physically dehydrated, but because the toxins accumulating in your bloodstream are now directly affecting your neurons. It is like trying to run a complex program while someone pours sand into the processor. The signals get garbled. The processing slows. The system begins to crash. Seizures become a very real possibility on day 5 or 6. Not from a neurological disease, not from an injury, But because the electrolyte imbalance has become so extreme that neurons begin firing randomly, without any order or control, your brain is misfiring like an engine starved of oil. Heart arrhythmia becomes a real and immediate danger. The electrical signals that keep your heart beating in rhythm depend entirely on potassium and sodium. Both are now critically low. Your heart can skip a beat, or beat too fast, or dangerously slow. Without correction, any of these outcomes can become fatal. Day 6. The body has done everything it possibly could. It rationed. It rerouted. It reclaimed every last molecule of water it could reach. But there is nothing left to ration anymore. Multi-organ failure has begun. The kidneys have effectively shut down. The liver is struggling to process the toxins the kidneys can no longer clear. The cardiovascular system is straining under thickened blood and collapsing pressure. The brain is increasingly starved of oxygen and essential nutrients. Everything is collapsing at once, and nothing is there to stop it. Day 7. In most real-world documented cases, this is where the story ends. The average healthy adult, in normal conditions, cannot survive 7 days without water. Most would not make it past day 4 or 5. Some might last slightly longer in cool, still conditions with minimal exertion, but the outcome would likely be the same. But here is the scientific reality that puts all of this into perspective. The 3 to 5 day survival window without water is well established in medical and survival research. Researchers studying survival scenarios, including victims of floods, earthquakes, and shipwrecks, have consistently documented this range across hundreds of real-world cases. Now compare this to the survival window without food. A healthy human can survive roughly 3 weeks without eating anything at all, but only 3 to 5 days without water. The difference is enormous, and the reason reveals everything. Without food, your body has a backup plan. It switches to burning fat reserves. It is slow and painful, but survivable for weeks. Without water, there is no switch to flip. There is no backup fuel. There is no alternative process. Every single biological process that keeps you alive requires water as its medium. The chemistry stops. The transport stops. The filtration stops. Everything stops. And here is the twist that changes how you think about all of this. The human body is one of the most water-efficient biological machines ever evolved. You lose water constantly, through every breath, every bead of sweat, every trip to the bathroom. Yet under normal conditions, your kidneys, your skin, and your hormones balance all of it automatically. You never think about it, because your body does all the work, invisibly, around the clock. But the moment that balance breaks, the countdown begins. And unlike almost any other biological threat, this countdown has no pause button. You can survive a broken bone. You can survive a high fever. You can survive serious blood loss, sometimes. But water is the one thing your body cannot improvise around. It is not just important. It is the baseline of all baselines. The floor beneath the floor. Remove it, and there is nothing left to stand on. We take 2 to 3 liters of water for granted every single day. We complain about the taste. We forget to drink enough. We choose everything else instead. But somewhere deep inside your biology, there is a clock, and it started ticking the moment you put that glass down. Your kidneys are working right now. Your blood is flowing. Your brain is holding its shape. All of it, because of water. Water is not just healthy. Water is the difference between a body that works and one that doesn't. If this made you think differently about what you drink today, subscribe to The Science and stay curious. Next time, we ask, what if your heart stopped for just 1 second? You might be surprised how much can go wrong in the space between 2 beats.